Tonight on the Beaver News, college students pepper sprayed, Facebook making more changes, and the sudden death of a Seattle Mariner. So keep it right here on the Beaver News.
Good evening. Welcome to Tuesday's edition of the Beaver News. I'm Brittany Greenfield.
And I'm Jenessa Kirk. The 4th annual Joy Drive, put on by Child Care and Family Resources at Oregon State University, will sponsor struggling students and families this winter. Emily Hagg of the Daily Barometer reports that the Joy Drive has grown in popularity over the last 4 years, and the event is beginning to be expected around the holiday season. This drive was created due to the requests of students wanting an event to support Oregon State students and families during the holidays. The Child Care and Family Resource Office, the Associated Students of OSU Non-Traditional Affairs, Health and Wellness Task Forces, Greek Life, and Residential Life had come together to help make the Joy Drive possible. The event coordinator Sarah Bowman said that, quote, "It's all about students supporting students. It's a great learning opportunity for students. We just want to show that we are here and that we care."
Most of us have heard of Black Friday, and some of us have even heard of Cyber Monday. But what about Small Business Saturday? In an effort to support small local businesses, Small Business Saturday was created. Doorbuster sales and the increasing number of online shoppers have prevented American consumers from spending money in their own communities. Some benefits to local shopping include no crowd fighting, strong customer service, and more creative gift finds. This year, American Express is offering a $25 credit to those who register their American Express credit card and make a purchase of $25 or more at a small business on November 26th. 2011 marks the second year for Small Business Saturday. Some participating businesses in Corvallis include Grace Winds Music, Browser's Bookstore, Garland Nursery, and Peak Sports.
The Corvallis-Benton County Public Library announced that it would soon begin construction on a new library for its Monroe branch. According to the Library Extensions and Technology Manager, Andrew Sherbus, the new library has been needed for quite some time. Kristen Pugmire of the Daily Barometer reports that in recent years, the library has even had to utilize the town's fire station in order to have enough for the 100 to 150 kids that attend the summer reading program. Andrew Sherbus also said that, quote, "Public demand has been outrageous. It has been that way since I started working here about 10 years ago," end quote. It is very important for the facility to accommodate their needs, especially because the Monroe branch is the only library that is available to many citizens for Corvallis.
Now we're going to take you to a package by a student here at Oregon State University.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Gaylord here for KBVR TV. And we're here at the Memorial Union celebrating fatherhood this fine Friday evening, where we're going to go check out the TV dance. Let's go take a look. We're here with Todd Underwood, the president of the OSU Ballroom Dance Club. Here to ask him a few questions. So Todd, can you tell us a little bit about the OSU Ballroom Dance Club?
Sure. The OSU Ballroom Dance Club is a club made up primarily of students, although we do have some community members who are active as well. They just aren't members of the club. We are 100% student membership. Right now we've got a little bit over 400 active members, so students in addition to our community members. So we usually have about 500 people or so that are active within our community at any given time. We operate weekly events in the Women's Building on Wednesday nights where we get about 150 to 200 people every night, and then we do 3 large events here in the MU where they get 300 to 400 people usually.
Any special celebrations for Father's Weekend in this ballroom dance tonight?
Any student who brings a parent gets that parent in for free, so that doesn't just limit it to fathers, because we know not everyone can bring their father to OSU for Dad's Weekend.
And so you guys actually give instruction for ballroom dancing?
Well, we try to. At every event we do, we have at least a 1-hour lesson. So tonight we've actually got Jason Isbell, who's a professional Lindy Hop instructor and professional Lindy Hop dancer from Portland, who's come down, and we've partnered with the OSU Swing Club to invite him in, because they're going to be doing some workshops here in Corvallis tomorrow.
Well, always love a good Lindy Hop here at OSU. The theme for tonight's dance is Saturday morning cartoons. as you'll see from the cast of characters we have present at tonight's wonderful ballroom dance. Right, so what are your guys' names?
I'm Daniel Hack.
And I'm Kimberella.
And are you guys, do you guys have positions here at the Oregon State Ballroom Dance Club? What are you here for?
I'm the vice president of the club, and I'm pretty much the treasurer. I deal with all the money, getting things set up, deposits, making sure the club stays running financially.
So, what's with the getup?
Tonight's dance is TV show themed, and a group of us officers decided we'd go for one of our classic TV shows, Captain Planet. So they told me to be Captain Planet, and we have the 5 Planeteers. I did volunteer after being told.
Excellent, excellent. Bravely done. This is Stephen Gaylord reporting for KBVR TV in the Memorial Union Ballroom. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Stephen. In other news, Oregon State University students are becoming more and more frustrated with their inability to register for classes that are necessary for their graduation. Student complaints were voiced in an article written by Kelly Ward for the Daily Barometer on Monday. Wait lists are busting at the seams, and according to Mark Hoffman, Associate Dean of Undergraduate Programs for the College of Health and Human Sciences, said that the fact that OSU is a low-grant university has a lot to do with the problem. Hoffman said, quote, "We know that as a college we have had a 7% increase in student enrollment. The amount of time it takes to respond to increasing student enrollment doesn't happen as quickly as student enrollment does," end quote. Hoffman suggests that students contact their advisors to see what needs to be done if faced with the difficulty registering, and added that it's the goal of the university to avoid students having to spend extra terms at OSU.
For the first time in a decade, the Oregon State University wrestling team finished in the top 25 last year, putting them at 21st place. This year, the Beavers are hoping to improve on their last year's success. Andrew Killstorm of the Daily Barometer reports that after defeating Simon Fraser University and Boise State University in dual meets, the team is currently ranked 18th in the nation. On Sunday, the Beavers were victorious in their match against Boise State and their first win against the Broncos in program history. Although this year the Beavers have lost some crucial elements to their team, such as All-American Colby Covington, this year's team is looking to pick up right where those graduated players left off. This year's team sustains of 7 new starters, including redshirt freshman Pat Rollins at 125 pounds, redshirt freshman James Roberts at 133 pounds, sophomore R.J. Penna at 157 pounds, Junior Cody Weinshoff at 165 pounds, Junior Ty Vizen at 174 pounds, sophomore John Tuck at 184 pounds, and redshirt freshman Taylor Meeks at 197 pounds. The Oregon State Beavers are also returning 3 of their best from last year in 10th-ranked Scott Sakaguchi at 149 pounds, 8th-ranked senior Clayton Jack, who is a heavyweight, and 5th-ranked junior Mike Magrum.
The Oregon Alliance Working for Antibiotic Resistance Education, also known as AWARE, gathered at Portland's Pioneer Square last week to counsel the public on correct use of antibiotics. AWARE is made up of university students, including Oregon State University pharmacy students, and is funded by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The goal is to debunk the misconception that antibiotics kill most kinds of illnesses. In actuality, antibiotics are only necessary when fighting a bacterial infection and have no effect on viral infections. In addition, some people may experience side effects such as diarrhea, skin rashes, and even life-threatening reactions. Michael Mendez, staff reporter for the Daily Barometer, reports that taking unnecessary antibiotics or not taking them as instructed can lead to antibiotic resistance, creating an even more powerful superbug. OSU pharmacy students can work with AWARE for course credit or for volunteer hours. The pharmacy students counsel people on proper use of antibiotics and provide educational materials to help the public learn more about the issue. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll have your remaining stories. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss it.
Welcome back to the Beaver News live on KBVR. After the use of pepper spray against Occupy Davis protesters by police last week, the Chancellor of the University of California, Davis, publicly apologized before a crowd of thousands on Monday. CNN reports that calls for Chancellor of UC Davis, Linda P. Cattee, resignation and widespread criticism had sparked after a video of police pepper spraying nonviolent demonstrators at a sitting protest Friday on the UC Davis campus. Cattee had stated that, quote, "I am here to apologize. I feel really horrible for what happened on Friday. If you think you don't want to be a student in a university like we had on Friday, I'm just telling you I don't want to be the chancellor of the university we had on Friday," end quote. After the statement, the crowd yelled back at KT crying, "Resign."
The Seattle Mariners Major League Baseball team lost a rising star on Monday after officials confirmed the death of player Greg Hallman. Just 24 years old, Hallman was stabbed to death during a trip home to the Netherlands. His 22-year-old brother was arrested and taken into custody by investigators. Eric Wedge, the Mariners manager, released a statement saying, quote, "He was a fine young man with a bright future. Greg had a tremendous energy about him, both on and off the field, that I loved. This is just tragic," end quote. Hallman began playing for the Seattle Mariners during the 2010 season and played in 44 games with the team. According to CNN, figures from Major League Baseball show Hallman wrapped up the 2011 season with 20 hits, 2 of them home runs, and 87 plate appearances.
In a packed Oklahoma State University gym on Monday, students, faculty, friends, and family gathered to remember and celebrate the life of their coach, Kurt Budke, and assistant coach Miranda Cerna, who died in a plane crash last week. Former Oklahoma State Senator Olin Brandsetter and his wife Paula also died in the crash and were honored Monday. CNN reports that the coaches were traveling to Arkansas for a recruiting visit when Piper Cherokee PA-28 crashed under what was reported unknown circumstances in a forested area about 4 miles south of Perryville, Arkansas, according to the Federal Aviation Administration. Classes around the service were canceled by the university so that students and the public could attend. The team associate head coach, Jim Little, will take over as an interim head coach and had this to say about the crash, quote, "These people have a huge impact all around the country, and today we have the chance to celebrate the lives of these 4 very special people."
Moving into the fast-changing world of technology, Apple recently sent a handful of patents to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office this week that could potentially benefit iDevice users. According to CNN, Apple engineers have been working to develop protection for the glass faces of their devices. Some of the ideas include a shock mount that would act as a bumper between the device bodies and the glass, and a switch from normal glass to a stronger option called Gorilla Glass. Gorilla Glass is currently used on the latest iPhones, the iPhone 4 and 4S. Another potential development includes a power adapter that would allow multiple Apple devices to be charged at the same time. Apple users would be able to charge iPods, iPhones, and iPads all at once.
After hours in a standoff with authorities at a Colorado Air Base building late Monday night, an armed active-duty Air Force member surrendered himself after barricading himself in the building. CNN reports that this unidentified 21-year-old man gave up peacefully at about 8 p.m. after hours of negotiation and is being detained. Colonel James P. Ross, 50th Space Wing Commander, made a statement about the standoff saying that, quote, "We are grateful for all of our first responders and their professionalism that was critical to the peaceful resolution of the situation," end quote. Lieutenant Marie Denson, a spokeswoman at the Schriever Air Force Base in Colorado Springs, said that the airman who belongs to the base's 50th Security Forces Squadron had locked himself around 10 a.m. inside a building where the personnel get paperwork and equipment before being deployed. Authorities had also said the man was armed with a personal handgun, and Denson stated that he also had a cell phone, a landline phone to communicate with military officials, and that mental health professionals were also on site.
Thanksgiving may actually be good for our health. CNN reports that studies on nostalgia show that ritualistic holiday traditions are good for our mental well-being. According to nutritional psychologist Mark David, quote, "Our biological functions are based on repetitive rhythms. Our brains are hardwired to relax when surrounded by the familiar," end quote. Simple events such as cooking family recipes or waiting to eat certain foods until the holidays can trigger nostalgia, increasing a person's self-esteem and positive memories. Editor for Taste of Home magazine, Catherine Cassidy, said, quote, "We call them food memories. When it comes to the holidays, we are always trying to recreate the magic and the specialness we experienced when we were children."
After a jury deadlocked on the fate of a Southern California teen, he agreed to plead guilty for gunning down a gay classmate 3 years ago in their junior high classroom. CNN reports that in September, a judge declared a mistrial in the case of now 17-year-old Brandon McNerney after jurors said they were hopelessly deadlocked following a 9-week trial on whether he should be found guilty of manslaughter or murder. A month later, the Ventura County District Attorney's Office announced that McNerney would be retried on first-degree murder charges as an adult. And in the first trial, McNerney was also tried as an adult. McNerney pleaded guilty to killing Lawrence King under the Penal Code sections for both murder and voluntary manslaughter, as well as to using a firearm in that crime. He will serve 11 years for manslaughter and 10 years for the use of a firearm, according to the District Attorney's Office.
First Lady Michelle Obama and Dr. Jill Biden attended the final NASCAR race of the season on Sunday in Miami, Florida. They were welcomed by a stadium of billowing boos. The pair were grand marshals at the event, hoping to gain exposure for their Joining Forces campaign, which aims to provide assistance to military members, veterans, and their families. CNN reports that although they didn't receive a warm welcome from event-goers, Obama and Biden received a standing ovation by NASCAR drivers at a private reception prior to the race. Driver Tony Stewart went on to win the high-profile race and tied in the point standings with driver Carl Edwards. Stewart took home the season trophy after winning the tiebreaker, which was determined by who had the most season wins. We're heading to a quick break. When we come back, we'll be back with your international stories, including changes to Facebook. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Beaver News Live on Channel 26. CNN reports that on Sunday, the Libyan Revolutionary Forces had captured the country's former intelligence chief, according to the National Transitional Council. Senior member of the National Transitional Council, Mohammed Sayeh, said that Muammar Gaddafi's brother-in-law, Abdullah al-Sensoui, was captured at his brother's house about 100 kilometers north of Sabha. Al-Sensoui was held in Sabha on Sunday, and authorities plan to bring him to Tripoli for the trial. Deputy Chairman of Libya's National Transitional Council, Abed Hafiz Goga, claimed that Sensoui was not harmed during the time of his capture.
Police in New York arrested Jose Pimentel on Sunday after collecting evidence that revealed his plans to harm police, military members, and postal facilities. 27-year-old Pimentel was busted after a confidential informant caught video footage of him making bomb casings. Pimentel purchased bomb-making supplies at Home Depot and 3 other stores and planned to test his explosives in a mailbox before targeting police and military members. CNN reports that Pimentel previously considered changing his name to Osama Hussein to honor his heroes Osama bin Laden and Saddam Hussein. New York's Mayor Michael Bloomberg said, quote, "The suspect was a so-called lone wolf motivated by his own resentment of the presence of American troops in Iraq and Afghanistan, as well as inspired by al-Qaeda propaganda. He was not a part of a larger conspiracy emanating from abroad," end quote. CNN also noted that Pimentel is being held on charges of possession of a bomb for terrorism, conspiracy as a crime of terrorism, soliciting support for a terrorist act, being a felon in possession of a weapon, and conspiracy to commit criminal mischief and arson.
After a South Korean cargo ship sank in the South China Sea on Monday, 7 crew members are still missing according to the South Korean Foreign Ministry, although 14 had been rescued. CNN reports that the ship was headed to Penang, Malaysia to China and disappeared after sending out an emergency signal Monday afternoon. The Foreign Ministry said it is still hopeful. 1 crew member was rescued at noon on Tuesday, almost 20 hours after the ship sent out the emergency signal. Hong Kong rescuers had also deployed 2 helicopters and 7 ships to help with the search and rescue operation, while 2 Chinese naval vessels were en route to the scene. In 2008, the same ship was hijacked by Somali pirates, where 8 sailors were held captive for 37 days, according to South Korea's Yonhap News Agency, although the cause of the sinking so far is unknown.
CNN is reporting that Facebook's controversial ticker feature will soon be making news yet again. A Facebook spokesman confirmed that the company will be adding paid advertisements to their status updating feature. Facebook has been working to find a natural way to integrate sponsored stories into the, quote, organic posts of users. Spokesman Andrew Noyes said, quote, "We recently made some changes to Facebook that helps surface more engaging content, whether paid or organic, to people using Facebook. With these changes, people may see a varying number of ads or sponsored stories alongside of organic content," end quote. Currently, sponsored stories are found on the Canvas pages when utilizing apps and are tailored to the user's interests. If a Facebook user clicks like on a company's page, that brand may appear as a sponsored story. The sponsored ticker ads are set to appear starting Monday.
The creativity of the flamboyant former Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi has not been stopped by his removal of the government. He has written the lyrics for a new CD released earlier today. According to CNN, True Love by Neapolitan guitarist and singer Mariano Apicella contains of 11 songs written in the last 2 years. Most of the melodies recall the long tradition of Neapolitan folk music, also including some jazz elements, samba, and other Latin American rhythms. The singer and guitarist spent last weekend with Berlusconi at the Prime Minister's villa in Sardinia. Apicella said that, quote, "It was just us, a pianist, and a few gardeners, and Berlusconi was very relaxed, probably due to the fact that he has fewer responsibilities now," end quote. He had also stated that Berlusconi is very proud of the album. That's all the news we have for you tonight, but be sure to tune in next week for more of your local, national, and international stories on the Beaver News. Have a good Thanksgiving and safe travels, everyone.